Okay, so what I'm going to do is at first I'm going to set up a project. So let's go to project window, and what have I got? Current project, we'll make something new. And we'll call this Bob Robin. Okay, great. And this is going to go into my projects, great. And I'll hit accept. Okay, there's some concept art stuff I'm going to work with. I'm going to work with this thing here. I'm just going to quickly save this image as, and I'm just going to go over here, and we'll whip that into my folder. Yep. Where the hell am I? No, we went into the E drive. Okay. Done. So, next thing I need to do, let's get to Photoshop. And I'm just going to open this thing up. Whoop. And whoop. We'll just move this over here. And if I go in and I grab out of these projects, Bob Robin. There, source images. And why the freaking hell is that not there? I just saved it there. I'm just going to pause for a second while I figure something out here. Okay, something funky is going on, but that's okay. There it is, I've got my little picture. I'm just going to quickly go in and let's crop this thing. Whoop. Okay, great. And I think that should be fine. Probably don't even really need this 3/4 shot, but who cares? So I've got this, it's cropped, and I'm happy, and I know it. I'm just going to go and let's do a quick selection. I'm going to get my magic wand, and I'll just kind of get these outside edges here, and let's make this so it's contiguous. Let's try it again. Magic wand. So we got all the outside shots. Okay, great. I don't care about... Is there anything else in here? I don't care about that. I'll be fine. And then, actually, I might, just for the hell of it, I'll add this little section right there. Great. It's got it seems to have a little feather on it, so if I do that, I can get rid of it. There. Okay, great. I'm going to go to channels, and you can't see this, so I'm just going to move this over here. Channels, I'll make a new channel, make it an alpha channel, okay. And now we can see the alpha channel. If I invert my selection, Control I, and I go Control X, and I chop it out. Okay, I've just actually made it so that the Robin is transparent. I don't want that. Go Control Shift I, Control I. There it is, I've inverted it. Now I've got an alpha channel and all these white spots. I don't have to look at that when I'm modeling. Okay, great. And I'll go File, Save As, and I'm going to save this thing as a Targa file. And Robin model sheet, whatever, Targa. Great. Save! And I want to save it as 32-bit, so I get the alpha channel. Done! Okay, so now I'm going to go back over here to Maya, and I'm going to grab myself... Do I have a reference button up here? Of course not. I'll just go to the front view, and I'm going to go in and grab my Create Polygon tool. I'm going to hold down X, and I'll snap my points here. Bastard! There. Enter. Okay. And here, let's look at that in the perspective view. Wonderful. I'm just going to hit 6, and I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to assign a fresh material. I'm going to assign a fresh Lambert. Everybody loves the smell of fresh Lambert. And if I go to the color on this, and I map it with a file texture, we're going to find... Bastard! I'm on the wrong project. Let's see, just hold on a second. How did I screw this up so badly? What was I thinking about? Boink! There. Done. Okay, so, one thing I did forget was to check the aspect ratio on this in Photoshop. I'm just going to find, if I right-click on this thing, get some properties. Properties, and what have I got here? Details. This thing is 576 pixels by 446 pixels. So, if I look at this, here, I'm just going to move that piece of information. Move it over here. So that is, in this case here, 576, I'll put 0.76. And the height is going to be 4.46. And that should be the exact aspect ratio that we saw a moment ago. Actually, this looks better on my computer than it does when I'm teaching. Okay, I don't need that information anymore. I'm just going to take this. I'm going to go and kill the history, freeze the transformations. I might go in here and use the Insert Edge Loop tool. Boop. Chop that up. Chop that up. One other thing I do is I'm just going to take this and I'll go into the options here, and I'm going to make sure that render stats double-sided is off, so we're only seeing one side of it. Okay. And I thought I killed the history already, and I'm just going to call this Robin. Ref. Done. Okay. And actually, to be completely honest, I probably don't need this thing right now. While I'm modeling, it actually has a relatively decent shot of the side foot, but we're only really using this as kind of a basic reference, so I'm not going to get too carried away with it. And then what I'm going to do is, let's see, I'm just going to move this thing so it's kind of more or less centered. Let's go to Panels, and we're going to go to Layouts, 2 panes side by side. Let's do this one being the front. Okay, and I'll try and center it as best I can. This thing here is not perfect by any means. It's very cartoony, and so it's, of course, going to be off. Let's go here to the perspective view now, and I'm just going to make a duplicate. And with a duplicate, let's go and hold down J when I'm rotating it. Now, I've got a couple of choices right here. The choice I'm going to make is I'm just going to take the surface faces here, and I'm going to go to, I'm in polygons, and I'll go to normals and hit reverse, so it flips them. If I want to take this to ZBrush, these image planes, it's kind of a trick of mine where I go and I import these images in to ZBrush, and if you have them, if I flip it using the render stats, it doesn't work quite the same. I'm just going to take that and delete it. Take this, take that face, delete it. Okay, and so there's my pivot points. That should be good there. This one here seems to be off a little bit, so I'm going to center it, and then I'll hold down D, and D, and I'm going to snap it to the bottom. And that one seems to be in a good spot too. There we have our references. These references, I might decide to group them. Okay, freeze, transformation, kill the history, and I'm just going to, with the group, I'm just going to put it onto a layer, and I'll call this ref_layer. I just realized I screwed up a couple things. Damn it! What are we at? 8:06. I've already started doing this. Well, we'll just fake it. Because once I get this rig in that I'm going to use, okay, I've got a rig that I'm going to drag in here. I'm just going to bring this over, and this is the Unreal skeleton. Boink! I just dragged it in. You're allowed to drag it in. Okay, and this thing he needs like a frame 0. Okay, so the leg goes back into place here. And let's hit save. Okay, and I'm going to hit 6 so you can see this. Yeah, you're going to find that these things don't fit exactly, these two images with this skeleton perfectly, so we'll pretend that they do. Just going to take them both, and I'm going to scale this up so it kind of fits. And here I'm just going to turn off the grid on this one. And what I'm looking for... Okay, first off, these images are too high, so I'm going to bring them down a bit. Okay, and I'd like to actually have it so this is kind of in the hip bone area, which is not on crotch level. Okay, and I'm just going to take the pivot points, and I'm going to move the pivot points up. So we kind of got them there. And I'll grab the scale tool, and I'll scale this up till my shoulders fit in at a reasonably decent spot. Something like that. Okay. And it looks like everything's going to be okay. Okay, it's hard to say on the side here, and again, I'm using these just as a reference. There's nothing that I'm going to be very religious about. One other thing I might do here really quick is I go to the perspective view here. Let's actually just take this and move this a little bit. Okay. I don't like these reference images being too close by. I think it's always kind of weird. But anyway, I got those both there. I'm thinking that I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to go mesh. I'm going to hit combine for a second. Kill the history. And I just want to chop these up a little bit. So I'm just going to go to the front view just so I can line them up, because I could line it up in Photoshop and stuff, but I'm being kind of lazy. So I'm just going to go into Cut Faces tool, and let's cut right around the crotch. How do you like that, Robin? Boink. I'm just holding down Shift when I do this, and that lines it up so it goes into a straight line. There. Got my shoulders in place, and that's for my head. This looks kind of strangely skewed here. But again, I'll pretend it works. Okay, great. And let's go in and grab the verti on here. And I'm just going to move these up until the ankles kind of fit. It's kind of funny because I think I can get away with moving the proportions on Robin quite... Oh, you bastard! On quite easily here. Whoop! And that still kind of works. Kind of looks more like Damien than normal Robin. And again, just a reference. So that's the base of my neck. This is kind of the neck area here. This will kind of work. Something like that. So I feel confident that I've got a reasonable setting here that I can start to work with. And what are we at? We're at 11 minutes. So I've just set up this whole thing. Anything else I need to do or anything like that? That should be fine. I'm just going to go File, Save Scene As, and we're in the Robin scenes. We'll call this Robin01_setup. Enter. And I'm going to stop right here, and I'll make another video.